play the right card at the right times to win the territory away from your opponents in War, War, War.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play War, 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 game designed and published by Anarchy54.
And hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant here from Meeple University.
Okay, let's go to the classroom.
In War, 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 players take on the roles of different factions, fighting against each other for control of points and control of the lands. Through the tactical play of cards and seals, players will jostle for position, scoring skulls for high cards and seals for low ones. Players score points for their skulls at the end of each round, and whoever has the most points after 5 rounds of play will be the winner. To set up, lay out the board and place all of the seal markers into their corresponding areas. Place the conflict token into the centre of the map. Give each player a faction card. You'll use all 4 regardless of your player count. And if you are playing with fewer than 4, shuffle up the auto opponents deck, which is how you'll manage those non-player characters. Flip all the human players' cards face up, and give each a seal in their own colour, which is placed on the matching banner of the faction card. Give all players their matching coloured conquer tokens, and place all 4 faction scoring markers at 0. Among the human players, choose a random first player. Now set up for the first round. There are 5 rounds in the game, but the first round is the only one which follows this special equalising setup. Find the deck of playing cards which show this back, and find the lucky dragon and set it aside. What remains is a 54 card deck of playing cards, with 13 cards each in 4 suits and 2 jokers. Within each suit, cards range in power from 2 up to 14, that is jacks worth 11, queens 12, kings 13 and aces 14. Each joker has 2 different suits and a power value of 0. For the first round only, make separate stacks of all the number cards and the kings, queens, jacks, aces and jokers. Set the jacks and jokers aside and shuffle each of the other stacks separately. Then deal each player a face down hand of 1 ace, 1 king, 1 queen and 7 random numbers. Set aside the 5 land cards. These come into play from the end of the first round, and you're now ready to play. A round of War, War, War is played in 10 turns, and each turn is played in 2 phases. First, play a card, then play seals. Only the human players participate in these turns. The neutral players do not. First is play a card, and this is both mandatory and simultaneous. All players look at the cards in their own hands and choose one that they wish to play this round, playing it face down on the table and keeping the rest in hand. The space where you play your cards is known as your battle zone. Once all cards are played, you'll move to playing seals. This phase happens in turn order, starting from the player who has the first player marker and going clockwise. Each player takes 1 turn, and on that turn may play any number of seals from their collection into their own or any other player's battle zone. Each player's faction card has the same 4 basic seal effects. When you play a blue seal into a battle zone, then when the card is ultimately revealed, you'll increase its power by 2 points per blue seal. When there's a black seal in a battle zone, it decreases the power of its card by 4 points. And these effects are additive. In this case, the card would count as having a power of 4. Blue and black are only resolved when the cards are revealed. Red and green are resolved immediately. When you play red into a battle zone, secretly look at the card in that battle zone. Then optionally take back your card and replace it with a different one from your hand. And when you play a green seal, swap a card from that battle zone with a card from any other battle zone. These swap effects swap only the cards, not any other played seals. Playing seals is optional. You can play any number including 0 when it's your turn, but you get only one turn. If you choose to pass, you can't come back and play more seals later. Once all the turns are resolved, it's time to reveal and resolve. After applying any adjustments, whichever card is the single highest card wins for this turn, and you'll place the card next to that player's faction card. That player will become the first player for the next turn. If there's a tie for power, then use this seriatim of suits to break the tie. Whichever player has the single lowest card, in this case it's the black player because with these seals this counts as an 8, takes one seal in the colour matching the card played. If the player has a matching coloured space on which to store that seal, then they may do so, and can keep that seal to play on any future turn. If, as is the case here, there is no open matching coloured space, the player still takes the seal, but must spend it on the next turn. All non-winning cards are moved to a face-up discard pile called the graveyard, and all spent seals are returned to their supplies. You'll now proceed to the next turn and again the playing of cards. Once 10 turns are done and all players are out of cards, you'll resolve the end of the round. Count up all the skulls on your surviving cards. So here blue has 15, green has 12 and black has 6. If you're playing with fewer than 4 players, you'll also need to score your auto opponent's skulls. So draw the top card of the auto opponent's deck, and based on its colour, this will tell you how many skulls it scored. Distribute the points. Whoever scored the most skulls gains 3 points, second most gains 2, and third most gains 1. In the event of a tie, both tied players get the larger number of steps. Now it's time to resolve the conflict. These 5 areas on the map correspond to the 5 land cards which we set aside in setup. And at the moment it's the white card which is under conflict, because that is where the conflict marker began. If this round had an untied winner, so in this case blue had the single most skulls and was an untied winner, put one of that player's conquer tokens into the current conflict region and give the player the matching land card. When first gained, this card must be placed on the unfortified side. This card gives you a new place where you can store a seal. In this case, it's any colour of seal, although other lands will have a specific colour. On future rounds, when you gain seals, you can store them on these land cards in the same way as your faction card and spend them for the special abilities on the land card. Then move the conflict token into the region matching the colour of the player who won this round. Now move on to round 2. At the start of round 2 specifically, the 4 player coloured land cards now come into play automatically and are given to their matching coloured players. This even includes the auto player. Then at the start of every round, find the luck dragon and give it to the player who is currently in last place on the score track. If there's a tie, randomise between the tied players. Now deal each player a new hand of 10. This works slightly differently to the first round. You'll still shuffle up just the number cards and deal each player 7 cards from this deck. But instead of giving each player an ace, a king and a queen, you'll shuffle up all of the remaining cards, jacks, jokers and all, and deal each player 3 in total from this set. You'll now play the 10 turns of the new round exactly as you did in round 1, with only 2 new rules. First, once all players have played their cards and had their turns to play seals, the player with the luck dragon may play that into any battle zone. This is worth +7 power to this battle zone and an additional 3 skulls if you win with it. Second, there are now jokers in play, and a joker has 0 power. But if you lose with it, you'll gain 2 seals, 1 in each of its suits. After the round is over and you've scored the points, there are 2 possible ways for the conflict to be resolved. If the conflict region does not match the player who won the round, then that player steals the land card of that colour from whichever player has it at that time. Then move the conflict token to that player's colour. If a player wins in a territory matching their own colour, then they get to flip their land card over to its fortified side, giving a more powerful seal ability. Then that player gets to choose the next conflict zone. After 5 rounds, the game is over and the player with the highest score wins, and this could include the auto player. In the case of a tie, whichever tied player conquered the single highest valued land will be the winner. White is the highest value, and the others follow the general card suit hierarchy. And that's how to play War, War, War. We are using a prototype copy of the game, and so the rules and components may not be final, and do check out the project page for the game. We'll put a link to that in the description below.
Thanks so much for watching. Your like and comments are much appreciated. Subscribe to see what's coming and let us know what games you've been playing. See you next time.